Welcome, Siddhikant Community. Title of my talk is How Machine Learning and Artificial Intelligence Are Making Difference in the CI/CD domain. Before we take a plunge into the actual topic, let's understand what are the components that are involved here. That is CI, CD, and machine learning. What is continuous integration and continuous deployment? Technically, continuous integration is the process where software is built and initial tests are completed. And continuous deployment is the process of combining code with infrastructure, ensuring that all the tests are completed and policies are followed, and then deploying the code into the intended environment. In simple terms, we can say CI/CD gives us the ability to move continuously, quickly, and easily in the process of software delivery. How artificial intelligence and machine learning is different from software development. What do we do in software development? Software development, we have some input data, we have some rules, we have the compute, and we want to get the intended results. What is so different with machine learning? In machine learning, we have the input data available. We know what the results we want to get. We have the compute. We have the published machine learning and artificial intelligence algorithms. Using those, we want to get to the rules to get that results. So that is how it is different. We don't know what are the rules that we want to apply to the input data or the unseen data to get the same results in the future. Before we move further, let me introduce myself. I'm Anjali Batra, Principal Data Scientist at OpsMax. My job is to get intelligent inference from the data that is being emitted by the applications all the time. Where are we getting the data from? Data is being emitted 24/7, round the clock, from websites, different devices, sensors, measuring device, round the clock, right? We pre-process that data using different tools and techniques that are available to us. We get the features that are important to us for the business problem at hand. Then we use different machine learning algorithms and artificial intelligence architectures to get the predictions or inference that is relevant to the business problem at hand. Data is at the heart of any machine learning project. So for CD domain, what is the data that we can use? It's the log and the APM and infra metrics that is being emitted by all the applications and the code being developed that we can use for quicker and easier decision making. As I always say, unlike software development, none of the machine learning project can start without the data. If we have good quality of data, in this case, which is logs and metrics, then the inferences and the prediction can always be better. So it's like, if you have good quality of data, you have good quality of predictions. So we always say in data science, it's garbage in and garbage out. So it depends, any machine learning project, inferences depend on the quality of the data that has been fed to the machine learning algorithms. We can use clustering, classification, pattern recognition techniques for canary analysis for quicker decisions. Let's understand what is canary analysis first before we get to what are clustering and classification. Canary analysis is basically a two-step process where we assess the canary, which is basically the new version, on a selected list of metrics and logs to infer if we are going to promote or roll back the new version. This reduces the risk of introducing the software update into production by slowly rolling out the changes to a smaller subset of users before making it available to everybody. So as it is very evident from the diagram that we do not disturb our baseline and we take only the smaller subset and we have the newer version only available to the 5% of the servers or the customer. And if everything goes fine, we keep increasing the canary version and we keep decreasing the baseline. And once it is available to everybody and we believe that the canary is behaving as good as the baseline, then the baseline can be shifted to the new canary. Let's understand how can we analyze logs using machine learning. We can use both supervised and unsupervised learning to analyze logs. Let's understand first what is supervised and unsupervised learning. Supervised learning is something where we know what the target variable is. When we talk about target variable, is what the result that we're trying to achieve. Unsupervised learning is we don't know what the target variable is. So in unsupervised learning, clustering is one of the techniques that we use. So unsupervised learning, we can use to analyze log to do the clustering of our log lines. Similarity of log lines or clustering, to do the clustering, similarity is the function of the problem statement that you're dealing with. If you see the example that is there in the snapshot here, I have used the similarity of log lines on the basis of the problem statement that is being reflected by the log line. For example, file not found exception or IO exceptions are grouped together into one bucket. So this is being done using clustering or unsupervised learning. We can use supervised learning to give classes to these particular clusters according to the user preferences. So we have given a user preference for file not found exception as a critical error and then the error. After doing this, we can develop a different scoring mechanism to give scores to our canary with respect to our baseline. So how many times particular cluster has occurred in the baseline and then the new release. So you can actually develop a scoring mechanism and see how good your canary or a new version is with respect to your baseline or how bad it is. And if it is bad, then obviously you would like to roll back and not go ahead with that particular canary. So even before you are rolling it to set of servers and dealing with the smaller set of problems, you can analyze your logs using machine learning algorithms in this fashion to check how good is your canary, what is the health of your canary using machine learning algorithms. Let's talk about weight modeling and analysis for metrics. We can use machine learning algorithms to identify what are the important metrics that a user can keep a tab on to watch the health of the application. There can be hundreds of KPI metrics that are available in the application. It is very difficult to keep a tab on hundreds of KPI metrics that are available to the application. It is advisable to have a watch on few key metrics that are available and can give you the real health of the application. Machine learning can come to rescue in this. We can use some machine learning algorithms like decision tree to give you the most important KPI metrics. If you keep a watch on those, you can keep a tab on the health of the application. Metrics being the time series data, it is easier to visualize this data and it is easier to put a threshold on such data that if there is a shift between the canary and the baseline by 20% or 25%, I want to roll back the canary to baseline. We can analyze such data using various statistical methods. Very simple statistical tools like interquartile, range, mean, median can also give quite a bit of information about these canary and baseline. Let's see how machine learning can be used to figure out the root cause of a problem. We can use correlation to figure out the cause of any problem that may exist in our application update. Statistically defined, correlation is a measure of strength of a linear relationship between the two variables. We can use this statistical tool to identify the problem early in our deployment pipeline. We can correlate logs to logs, logs to metrics, and metrics to metrics to detect any anomaly in our system. Anomaly can be defined as any abnormal behavior into our system. Let's try to understand this particular way of finding a root cause of a problem using an example. Suppose we have any abnormal behavior in the container memory max usage, right? And we see that this particular matrix is going high after a certain period of time. And we try to correlate it with the logs during that particular duration. And certain logs are occurring in that particular duration. If we are able to correlate this particular matrix with these logs of this application, then we will be able to figure out that practically these logs can give us the root cause of the problem, why this memory consumption is going very high in this particular range of time in the human readable form, and probably the engineer can actually resolve the problem very soon using this. Let's have a look at a few more use cases that we can solve in this domain using machine learning. We can use deep learning models to increase the accuracy. Accuracy is one of the difficult problems in the classification of logs. Generally, we avoid deep learning and artificial neural nets because there's a dearth of data. But in CD domain, there's no dearth of data. We have transformer models which are already been trained on a huge corpus of data. We have already models like BERT and RoBERTa, which claim to give us good accuracy. Having good accuracy and recall in this particular domain can give us a power of good decision making. Contextual clustering to highlight the root cause is another use case. Pattern recognition is one of the main field in machine learning, and it can come to our rescue to highlight the root cause. Generally, looking at the single log line can give you what has happened in that particular point in time in our application. But looking at the context, what has happened before and after that particular log line at that particular time and point in time in our application can give you the real resolve of that problem. Pattern recognition can help us in figuring out the entire context of the problem. Many of the organizations that deals in server rely heavily on pattern recognition of their logs and metrics to capture the problem much ahead in time and avoid any business loss. We can remove the dependency by creating our own baseline version for testing deployments. What do we mean by that? Most of the applications today relying on canary analysis of logs and metrics depend on their users to provide them with baselines and new release. We can avoid this dependency on the user to provide us with a baseline. We can use machine learning to learn our own baseline from the conception of the application. With each version of the application that we see, we can keep learning our own baseline with how the application software development is progressing. Time series analysis for outliers is another area for metrics analysis, which needs a lot of attention in this domain. We generally say our time series analysis is as good as we treat our outliers. It depends on case-to-case basis. There are times when outliers are dropped and rest of the data is modeled to get our inferences and predictions. On the other cases, we have to model our outliers separately to get our predictions. There are cases where a single outlier can be a matter of concern to the user. In others, there have to be outliers for a certain period of time when the user needs to pay attention to. Outliers carry a lot of information, but which metrics have to be treated which way and which outliers have to be given preferences in which metrics is yet to be an area to explore in this particular domain. So these are some of the use cases that I believe we can explore in the near future. There will be many more, and I'm still exploring. Thank you so much. And finally, time for your questions. We have 15 minutes. If anybody has any question, you can post in the Q&A forum here. Raj, I guess you have a question here where you are asking that do you provide any guidance on which services to use in AWS and the ML and AI and CI/CD? If you are, visiting the event, please visit our booth. I think people will be there to guide you there. I've shared the details here on my screen. Answer is yes. Valentina, actually, defining a matrix can be a two-way process. One is dependent on, it can be dependent on your customer, where customer says that this is the most relevant metrics because if you see people doing e-commerce business, they have different set of metrics that is more relevant to them. But in our domain, uh, you know, there can be some metrics like latency and stuff which are of importance, but then we can also rely on machine learning algorithms to, if we take latency as our metrics that we want to take it as a target variable, and we want to model rest of our metrics to see how rest of our metrics are can be modeled around this and how much are they able to give you information about this particular metrics. Then the weights of those metrics can give you a lot of information, and then you can see that which are the important metrics for your that particular problem, that is that particular domain or application that you're dealing with, and then you can choose cherry pick your metrics that you want to work with. That is what I was trying to explain when I was trying to explain the weight modeling, but it is a difficult problem to solve. Even the direction of the matrix in which it should pass or fail is another difficult problem to solve when we work with. Did I answer your question? Actually, you are typing in the QA and A. I think there you cannot, you can type in the chat session. There it will be easier for you, Valentina, if I'm pronouncing your name correct.
So, Jay, actually, we currently use logs and metrics to make our decisions, and that's what I took reference from our autopilot. And if you want to see the complete demo of autopilot, you can check out at a booth. But to give you a little gist of that, we use canary analysis for doing that. And if I take if I want to explain you that what are we doing from machine learning perspective, we actually are using machine learning algorithms to classify our log lines into certain buckets, and then we have developed our scoring algorithms to say that how good is our canary with respect to our baseline, and that is how we take the decision on the rollback or move forward. Our current stress is more or less in logs, but we are progressing slowly on the matrix side. If you can go to our booth, probably you can have a full demo how it is working there. Did I answer your question, Jay? Glad. Any more questions out there? And for that matter, I think we are providing a lot of integrators so that our customers are not stuck with only few log providers or metrics provider. We provide quite a few of them, so that any log provider that you are using to maintain your logs can be plugged into our system. So Jay, the recommendation right now is, with our current engine that we have, we propose that you at least use our system at least for 20 days. You show, at least in few MBs of data to our system every day to make our engine learn from your system. If you have the entire corpus ready with you, and you can show the different variety of data to the engine in single shot, then that can be a quicker learning. But if the data is being generated on a daily basis, then we expect, for the training of the system, we expect the system to be exposed for at least 2 to 3 weeks, so that the predictions gets better. We are in the process of improving and reducing those timelines also, but currently that is the benchmark. And every time you see that there is something wrong that we have made a prediction to, we have incorporated the feedback mechanism into the system. You can rectify the whatever we have predicted wrong into the system then and there, and we learn it from the next cycle of your the next cycle you run your canary. That learning is being taken care from the next run itself. Does that answer your question? That is the tough question to answer. So Jay is asking, can you share some examples of how ML and AI improve DevOps business metrics versus without ML and AI? Probably I have to get back to you, because I'm not completely a DevOps person, and getting to complete business metrics for me off the hand will be tough, Jay. That will be a tough question to answer. But to answer to you in quite a bit, we have been using our own autopilot to improve the quality of our own product, that is OES. And so what we have done, what we do it every day, that every night, whatever our entire team works on, so we see so that our QA cycle is smaller. So we analyze our own logs to catch the problem early in the life cycle of the product. So that is how we are, reducing the QA life cycle. If that gives you a little glimpse into the system. It's not completely a matrix, but yeah, some. Jay, slides will be published by CDCon, and the video will be also available on the YouTube. The slides will be there for everybody to see. And I think my email ID is also there. For any other queries, you can write to me. I'll be more than happy to answer. And this is a valid question, I guess, but I really don't have the answer right now. But for the DevOps, what I would like to add here is that initially when we were working and from one release to another release, if there were some memory leaks that have been introduced into the system, we were not able to capture. But with our metric analysis that is happening every night with every nightly build, we are able to capture if there is any memory leaks into the system. That is one thing that we have been able to improve. Not a business metrics, but yeah, I will be able to talk more from the software side of the system. Any more queries here? We are left with only 3 more minutes. We can talk about any generic questions also regarding ML here. So we are about to end this session. Thank you very much, everyone, for sparing this half an hour for us. And do visit our booth at the expo and explore what Autopilot is doing in this particular domain.